Rock and roll, guys. What's going on? Hope you're keeping well. Today we're working on indicators, a subject that I was changing my mind probably a dozen times when I was building that bike. First I didn't want to run any indicators, then I did, and then I didn't want to run any indicators again, and then I changed my mind again in the end. So I just bit the bullet. I ordered some indies. I ordered classic shape. Nothing too fancy. Once again, I think keeping this bike kind of classy, custom but kind of classy, it's the right way to go, simply because there are so many different style of indicators out there. But if I put like really cosmic looking indicators on this bike, it's just not gonna look right. They look okay on its own, or some super fancy sports bike, but putting that on this thing, it's just not gonna work. So I kept it simple. And it's a metal body as well, glass lens, so it's a pretty decent quality indicators. So I'm going to install them today. The reason I was going on and off with indicators, it's I wanted to keep the clean look of the bike, but then I ride my bikes a lot, and I ride them night time as well. I mean, a lot of time I just ride in the darkness. And sticking my hand out wearing black gloves and black leather jacket, it's just not working. It's not gonna work. People don't look in for that. The driver is not looking for you to sticking out hands because they're so used to turn signals, especially at night. They flash in and then illuminate where you're going, more or less. So that is a lot safer, to run some kind of indicators there. I found a pretty cool spot, I think, to mount them on the back. I mean, front is simple. You mount them somewhere by the forks or whatever. But on the back, I wanted to keep it kind of cool. So let me show you what I come up with. Try to explain one over there, and then we go about for making a bracket for it and see if we can mount it in a right way. Let's do this. Right, so here we are on the back of the bike again. I ordered the indicators originally when I was planning to mount the taillight and number plate underneath this section, and when I got the light, my plan went through the window. As you know, the taillight is over here on the side now, and that kind of spoiled my option to mount indicators underneath here. I was trying to keep it somewhere like this, but as you can see, even if I mount them here or even in here, it just looks like it looks shit, let's face it. It doesn't. I want to keep it clean, There's a reason I moved it over there to the side, to keep this clean, because I really want that clean. And at that point I thought maybe I'm not going to run any indicators, because I would like to mount them over here, down by the swing arm, but that's not symmetrical, and it's just not gonna look right. Over there, it just doesn't make any sense. So I was looking at the options, and I was ready to give up on the idea of indicators. But then I spotted this brace bracket right behind this support brace. There's a brace to keep the frame together when original seat used to mount to. And I'm thinking, if I mount them over here, behind the support section, I'm not sure if you can see this. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go, that's probably better. So I'm thinking mounting them over here. Obviously straight, not like this, but you know what I mean. They'd be sitting, I need to create a bracket so they both sit over here somehow. And I know what you say, you probably say that's illegal because the indicators need to be, I don't know, it's like regulation, I think it's like 30 centimeters apart at least or something, when they only 10 over here. But you know what, I don't care. I don't care if that's illegal. I mean, that number plate, it's probably illegal, so that's gonna be illegal too. And I'm thinking, what are you thinking? Whether they're going to be visible from the back, because they kind of far deep inside. Well, I did stand all the way back there, and they are kind of visible when you on a kind of car driver situation. Difficult probably for a van drivers and somebody who sits higher, because that will be obstructed. But still, the main issue is riding at night, and these indicators, when they be blinking at night, they'll be illuminating this whole part of the bike or the other side of the bike, depends which way I'll be indicating. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna work. And the legs are not obstructing the view. I checked it out already, so everything is more or less thought through anyway. All I need to do is just create a simple bracket over there. Let me show you where exactly. This section over here, you need to weld some kind of a L-shaped bracket on one side and the other, and that from that point onwards all the wiring go up there, so it's going to be really clean connection over here, and that's not going to obstruct anything or anyway. I think it's going to look pretty cool sitting over there. So that's the job for today. Again, if it's not going to work, then I can take it off and forget about it, but I'm hoping I'm on the right path over here. Right, so the first job about these indicators, well, what I like about them, it's they got metal body and glass lens, and they're pretty solid quality. And they bulbs, they're not LED, so I don't need to fuck about with adding extra resistors in there, so prevent the hyper flashing. But what I don't like about them, which I didn't realize when I was ordering them, they got just single connection, and that's a live feed from there. There's no earth. The earth is being through the body of the indicator because they're metal, which is fantastic when you mount it into a metal bracket. But if I mount it to the plastic brackets, you know, into some kind of fairing, that's not gonna work. So you need to create your earth point anyway. Plus they painted, and I never really trust that connection. So what I will do, the first thing, take them apart and solder a earth negative wire to the body of the housing for the bulb. Already just stuck a cable wire over here, and I'll show you they're nice and bright, which is always a good thing about indicators. And I like the fade away of the bulb as opposed to the on and off from LED. You know, I think that adds, little detail like this adds a little bit to the character of the bike as well. Old school, right? Alright, let's do this first. Right, so I've dealt with the indicators now. As you've seen, I created another earth kind of negative cable, because I don't really trust them earthing through the body of the indicators. They're always a bit tricky, and I may run into problems later on. But that's out of the way now. We're moving on. Now I need to create a bracket to mount the indicators on my chosen spot on the bike. And I'm not going to say much about it because I have an idea. Let me just say it involves this. See if I can pull it off. Let's do this. there we go, guys. Indicators on the back all mounted. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did, because it's just a little bit off, you know, a little bit detailed that not everybody will see straight away. But once you look into that and you see actually how they mounted, that would probably make you smile or just make you go, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So hopefully that's executed pretty nicely there. Indicators on the front are going to be slightly different, but they way easier to mount on the front. You either go by the forks or somewhere else, but I got some work to do on the front as well before I can mount the indicators on there, but that's pretty straightforward. Hopefully a smooth sailing. But yeah, the front should be next video, next project to come in on. Other than that, we're getting really close to completing that project for a test ride. There's a very few things I need to do on this. Obviously cosmetic is completely different, but dry build, I reckon we just a few episodes away from that. So yeah, happy days. Cheers everybody, thank you very much for watching. Have a beer, rock hard, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah.